I'm Victor Hayes. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Dana, and this is my partner Romina, and we're going to talk to you today about the organizational structure of the mafia. The mafia goes back hundreds of years and has a distinct chain of command. Much like any business, the sole purpose is to make money. The mob runs from a top-down hierarchy with members at each level who are responsible for different tasks and duties. Today, Romina and I are going to break down the hierarchy of the mafia and show you how it resembles greatly the business structure of North American organizations as we know them today.
Okay, so first we're going to discuss La Cosa Nostra and organized crime. In the 1900s, thousands of Italian mobsters immigrated from Italy to America, specifically from Sicily. Many helped establish what we know today as La Cosa Nostra, or synonymous for the American Mafia. One of the key figures in the creation of La Cosa Nostra is Lucky Luciano. Luciano, so the man you see on the left-hand side of the screen, immigrated to America during the 1920s and was met in America with prohibition, with lots of money to be made with illegal activity. He modeled this organization, which is the American Mafia, after the organization in Sicily, which was the Sicilian Mafia. Today, American mobsters are most active in New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey, Detroit, Chicago, and New England. They have members all over America, and they do crimes internationally as well. La Cosa Nostra today is still synonymous with the American Mafia.
The most popular word used to describe Italian organized crime is mafia. One theory suggests that the word originates from the phrase "morte alla Francia, Italia, Anelia," translated to English means "death to all the French is Italy's cry." If you pay close attention, the first letter of these words actually spells out the word mafia. The phrase itself is said to have originated in the 13th century during a period of time where the French were invading Sicily, and this became a political motto for the Sicilians.
So now we're going to briefly go through a detailed description of the hierarchical structure of the Italian Mafia. We'll go through different titles and roles and different responsibility under each role. So we'll first begin with the Godfather. The highest position is known as the Godfather, or the boss of all bosses. The last time this role was filled in the United States was by a man named Salvatore Marzano in the 1930s. Marzano introduced the structure of the Mafia and the 5 top crime families in New York, essentially placing himself at the top of these families. He appointed himself as the Godfather. He was soon after assassinated, and the position was never filled and was never reintroduced into the Mafia crime family. This is most likely due to the danger that's associated with it. The Godfather is an extremely prestigious role. It comes with lots of money, respect, and wealth. So when somebody is the Godfather, someone else wants to take that position. Today, the position is merely a de facto title bestowed on the boss of the most powerful crime family within the country. So, for the sake of this presentation, currently the most powerful crime family in the United States is the Gambino family. On the screen here, we see Salvatore Marzano, who was the original Godfather in the United States. Once he died, as I stated, it was eliminated, and Carlo Gambino became the boss of the Gambino crime family, therefore essentially making him the Godfather of America.
Next, we have the boss, or the CEO of an organization. The boss and the CEO have one thing in common, and it's that they make all the big decisions. Now, just focusing on the boss of the Mafia, although each boss may treat his clan differently, they all have one thing in common. They are all widely respected and greatly feared by all of their subordinates. The boss is so powerful, in fact, that he can order death upon any of his workers. This is how he gains authority and respect. Also, all the subordinates within the organization of the Mafia pay the boss a tax. This makes him a very wealthy man. Furthermore, the boss is a high-profile individual who knows that he is under surveillance at all times. This is why he behaves accordingly when in public and never actually does any of the dirty work. In fact, he'll assign a subordinate to follow through with the actions after he makes the decision. Nonetheless, if we're going to look at it as a corporate structure, he would be compared to the CEO. On the board, or slide, we have John Gotti and Paul Castellano. Paul Castellano was the boss of the Gambino family, but he was sought after by John Gotti and his clan, who murdered him, making John Gotti the boss of the Gambino family. This is just to show that it's not all glamour and glitz. It's a very dangerous position as well, and a very sought after one.
So next, we're going to look at the underboss. The underboss is second in command in the hierarchy of the Italian Mafia crime family. The underboss is required to be a direct relative of the boss. His level of authority varies from family to family. However, his main responsibility is to be able to stand in place for the boss at any given moment. For example, if the boss is unable to attend an important meeting, an appropriate person to attend on his behalf would be the underboss without being disrespectful. One can consider the underboss kind of like an acting vice president of a company. In the violent and volatile world of the mafia, the underboss is usually prepared to take over as head of the family. This would occur if the current boss becomes sick, is in jail, or gets murdered. So on the screen, we have John Don Gotti and Frank Petito. So these two were underbosses of the Gambino family at different periods of time. An interesting story around John Don Gotti. John Don Gotti is the son of John Gotti, who we just saw. He is half Italian and half Russian Jewish. There was a law within the Italian mafia that said you had to be 100% pure Italian descent in order to be a member. John Gotti, acting as the godfather or the boss at that time, changed the rule amongst all American mob families, saying that you no longer have to be 100% pure Italian descent, making his relative, his son, and his most trusted heir the underboss of the family.
Next we have the consigliere. The consigliere, or chief advisor, is not officially a part of the mafia, but he plays a very crucial role within the crime family. The consigliere is there to offer advice, make sure it's unbiased information based on what he sees is best for the family. He's not supposed to factor any emotional concerns, such as retaliations or blood feuds, into his decisions. Unlike the underboss, the consigliere is not required to be a direct relative of the boss himself. Instead, he is chosen solely on his knowledge and and his abilities. Generally, only the boss and underboss have more power than the consigliere within the structure of the mafia. On the board, we have James the little guy Ida and Joseph Jojo Crozzo, who were both the consigliere for the Gambino family at different periods in time. The consigliere could be compared to the consultant within an organization, an external force who advises an organization on what he sees is best for them.
So next we're going to look at the capo. The capo is the captain or lieutenant of a division within the mafia. His main responsibility is to monitor the daily activities that are going on within the family's territory. He is able to run his own business and earn a decent living. However, on an annual basis, he has to pay a tax to the boss. So the boss becomes a very wealthy man, primarily due to the captains. The captain reports directly to the boss or the underboss, who hands down instructions to them. The captain then takes these instructions and dictates them to a younger crew of men who are lower ranking in the hierarchy. One can view the capos as the managers of a company, all reporting to the same boss.
And finally, we have the soldiers. The soldiers are the lowest ranking members of the mafia hierarchy. These are the members of the organizations who do all the dirty work. It's the place where the kids start off. Their responsibilities are to run errands, make deliveries, and pick up the cash. They will risk anything and everything to make a name for themselves within the organization and demonstrate their loyalty. In other words, they are the interns.
So the last group of members we're going to talk about are the associates. So the associates are not actually members of the mafia, however they engage with them on certain business or criminal activities. Some roles that associates can obtain are money laundry bankers, crooked cops, lawyers, politicians such as JFK, movie stars, for example, Frank Sinatra, and drug dealers. Associates play a minor role in the day-to-day activities of the Italian mafia. They could be compared to the shareholders of a company. They don't have a role in the daily operations, however, a decision made by the mafia can severely affect them. So John F. Kennedy used the mafia resources to gain political power. There's also conspiracy theories that state that John F. Kennedy was assassinated by the mafia as well. So that just goes to show you that it's a double-edged sword. Frank Sinatra used the mafia resources for his own fame, as well as to build what we know today as Las Vegas.
So just to conclude, the mafia is an intricate and calculated organization that primarily functions top-down, where each role is necessary for the success of the business plan. Members are promoted to different levels and demoted as well. People are given more responsibility with greater reward, or fired, in other words, killed. Although this organization is highly based on criminal activities, one can observe a direct correlation between the structure of the mafia and the structure of North American businesses as we study them today. Thank you. We hope you have